Just got back from a 2,400 mile road trip, 13 days, 9 countries, if you include the UK, Nurburgring Stelvio Pass. Let's talk about it. Talk about how the car did, talk about the costs involved, talk about where we went, what we did. Let's go, join me. Right, thank you for joining. This is gonna be a chill one. I'm sat down in a color coordinated chair next to the car because in all the videos I didn't speak in all of them, so I'm just gonna add some context to the clips I've got from the trip and just do some explanation in hindsight, talk about the car, etc. So let's go. First off, we left Southampton. This one from Southampton, so we went from Southampton to Dover, 3.5 hour drive. Now in Dover, we did get the ferry over. We didn't get the Channel Tunnel. The reason for this is purely financial. It's cheaper to get the ferry. It adds a bit of time, granted, but we got the ferry quite early. We got it about 7 AM. So we still got there for, I can't remember the exact time, but we got there in good time over to Calais. So once we were in Calais, we were then heading to our first destination. Now our first destination was Bruges, which is where we were spending the first day and night. Now on the way to Bruges, we stopped off at Dunkirk. Now it is on the way, and if you know the history of Dunkirk, you'd know why we went there. Thought it was quite interesting. We checked out the beach, did a walk along the beach, checked out some of the war stuff. Quite a cool, surreal place to visit. And if you're driving past, I'd recommend dropping in. Why not? Anyway, then we got to Bruges, where we were spending the first night. Bruges is a nice place. We did a boat tour, which is a bit touristy, but I'd recommend it. It's a good way to see the city, especially because we were only there for one night, not that long really. Checked out some of the food places. The city itself was very nice, surprised me, Bruges. It was sort of just a pit stop we were going to make on the way down, just so we didn't have a big driving day on the first day because we were getting up at like 4 AM, so we knew we'd be tired. And I'd recommend it. If you're going to Belgium, I'd definitely recommend Bruges. Good place. On to the next place. So we left Bruges in the morning and we headed to Brussels, which is only an hour and a half away. We did see a few touristy things again. We stopped in at a Pixar museum thing that was up. That was quite cool. Inner child in me came out, but yeah, it was a cool place to go. And we saw a few of the sites. But Brussels itself as a city, underwhelming. Didn't like it. Would not recommend it, to be honest with you. No offense if you're Belgian or from there, but just not the best city I've ever been to. In fact, one of the worst. Hated it. Anyway, we left there as soon as we could, and then we headed down to the Nurburgring, which was the sort of catalyst for this whole trip. From Brussels to the Nurburgring, we stopped off at Spa-Francorchamps, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm definitely not. Spa was a cool place. I'd recommend stopping in if you're in the area. It's a cool place to check out, just to see. There were motorbikes going around at the time, which is unfortunate because, you know, I'm not much of a motorbike person. I prefer cars, these things. But it was still cool to see something go around the track, just seeing the elevation of Eau Rouge, Raillion, just a cool place to visit. Nice, big fan of that. Then from there we went to Nurburgring and oh my Lord, what a place. I think it lived up to everything and exceeded what I expected in many ways. The whole area was just car mad. As soon as you got into Nurburg, you were just like, wow, everything was just cars, everything, everywhere. Porsches, M2s, M3s, M4s, GT3 RSs, GT4 RSs. Those are the most common, the Porsches and the M cars, as you kind of expect. But just generally speaking, the whole place was just car mad. Had a great experience. Only did 2 laps because, and if you see my video, I've posted it already, so click up here to check it out. But I did a first lap. So we sort of took it easy because that was, you know, early on in the trip. We still had about 9, 10 more days to go. So we took it easy. Wanted to make it around in one piece, that was the main thing, and a great experience, and I will definitely go back. I'm actually looking at buying a track car that we can just rip around the track and take it to Nurburgring and not worry too much about driving into the wall like I would with this, because I'd be in debt for the rest of my life. Anyway, onwards. Then the Nurburgring, as I say, just such a cool place. You got the shop, the whole city, even the GP circuit, everything. I could easily spend a week there, maybe not a week, but just spectating. It's just so fun. It's just a great place to go. And if you're into cars, I'd highly recommend it. Just do it. After the Nurburgring, we went down to Frankfurt because we knew we'd spend all day on the Saturday in the Nurburgring. We wanted to stay there as long as possible. So basically we went, where's the closest big city? And it was Frankfurt. So we headed over to Frankfurt on a Saturday night. And to be honest with you, very cool place. It surprised me because it was popping. There's a little river through the middle. I say little, huge river through the middle, and there were boat parties. It was just a cool place, absolutely popping. Did enjoy Frankfurt, so again, I'd recommend it if you're nearby. Anyway, after Frankfurt, we headed down to Stuttgart. Now, if you know cars, you'll know why we went down that way. The Porsche Museum. Now, the Porsche Museum, cool place. Don't get me wrong, cool place. However, would I travel all that way just to go to the Porsche Museum? No. Because it was on the route, we were heading south to Switzerland anyway, spoilers. We popped in, but I don't know, it was just not that great. I think I was desensitized to Porsches by that point because I saw so many in Nurburgring that when I saw a 992 Carrera RS, which is one of my favorites, I wasn't like, wow, because I'd seen so many cars the day before. It was just like, I don't know, a bit desensitized, but a cool place. Not sure I'd recommend, you know, if you're in UK going all the way just for that, but if you're in the area, then I would definitely pop in a couple hours. Yeah, definitely do it. Anyway, after that, also, actually, rewind. That was a Sunday. Everything in Europe just shuts on Sunday. Nothing's open. Museums are open. Some shops are open for a little bit, but generally speaking, they just close everything on Sunday. So bear that in mind if you're going to Europe. Everything is just closed. Don't know why they do that. Everything's closed. So get everything in on the Saturdays, in the weekdays. On Sundays, do museums and restaurants. Some restaurants, most restaurants are open, but some aren't. So bear that in mind. Anyway, after Stuttgart, we headed down to Baden-Baden on the Sunday night. Now that was a cool place. That was in the Black Forest, just north of the Black Forest. So that's not the right word. North Black Forest, in the Black Forest, but north of it. Very cool place. It was sort of surreal. We coincidentally stumbled across this classic car show thing, so that was cool. There was like a GT40 rep car there, Audi S1, which was not a rep car, which was very cool to see. We did sort of catch it late on, so they were packing up. There was an E-Type, some old Mercedes there. Very cool just to coincidentally see. But a nice place, nice vibe there, would recommend it. Then the next day we drove through the Black Forest. We did this wolf and bear park, which is in the middle of Black Forest. Again, would recommend if you're in the area because that was a cool experience to see bears and wolves that up close. I've never seen a bear before, so that was quite fun. And it's a proper sanctuary. It's not like a little zoo where they're not living very well. They're actually rescued and it's all for a good cause, etc. So that was cool. The drive through the Black Forest, great roads. It was absolutely chucking it down. I'll put some footage up now. It was so wet through there because it's got a bit of a microclimate, I think. It was just chucking it down, and then it would be super sunny, super hot, and then chucking it down again. But still a cool experience and still some very cool roads. I imagine in the dry, they're obviously more fun because you can see, but it was still cool nonetheless. Once we got through the Black Forest, we headed down to a city called Freiburg, not a super touristy place, which is South Black Forest. It was just when we were looking where to stay, we knew we wanted to spend all day in the Black Forest, so we didn't want to have to drive too far in the evening to stay in Switzerland or whatever. So we chose Freiburg, which is not too far from the Swiss border or the French border actually. Decent city, quite German actually. Well, I don't think it's too touristy. I didn't see many tourists there, but decent place, had some sausages, job done. Then we moved down to Zurich via Rhine Falls, which is the biggest waterfall in Europe. Cool place, I'd recommend visiting. I wouldn't pay €5 to go in and look at it because you can look at it from the other side for free. That's a top tip for you there. But yeah, that was a thing. Then we headed to Zurich, as I say. We spent 2 days in Zurich over my birthday. I'm 27 now, so yeah, we stayed there over my birthday, 27, geez. Zurich was not the best place I've ever visited. In fact, I'd probably put Zurich just above Brussels maybe, but I didn't really enjoy Zurich that much. It was super expensive, which I know, you know, people tell you Zurich's expensive, Switzerland in general is expensive, but yeah, Zurich was really expensive. We were only there 2 days and I spent a lot of money because everything was just expensive, even food, drinks, everything. Hotel was expensive. Luckily we found one with parking, but the hotel wasn't that great. I don't know, just generally not the best place in the world, but again, cool experience, somewhere to visit. If you're driving through it, stop in. I wouldn't go out your way to visit. I definitely wouldn't go there on holiday for longer than 2 days. Just hit some incredible roads in Austria, sort of ones I've never heard of before. We're on the way to Lech. Well, we're on our way to Leipzig actually, but we've sort of taken a scenic route, and those roads you just seen were there, and they were crazy good. And right now we just pulled off. We're in Lech right now. What a beautiful place. I mean, it's not a season for skiing, but season for driving. Anyway, after Zurich, we headed to a place called Eibsee, which is South Germany. So it's in the Bavarian region, just north of Austria on the border. Absolutely unbelievable place. Probably my favorite place we visited, bar the Nurburgring. Just this lake really, but just sensational views. I mean, the whole thing just felt like a wallpaper. It was just unbelievable. I'll put some clips up now, but every single time you sort of peeked out of a bush, or that sounds weird, I wasn't peeking out of a lot of bushes, but we went on a walk around. It was like a 2-hour walk, and it was just amazing views. Also went for a swim in the lake because rude not to. Just a great place. I definitely recommend visiting. You can spend a few days there, do some swimming. You know, we went on a pedalo as well. That was quite fun. Just a great place. And I would say touristy, but more touristy for the Europeans. There wasn't too many UK people there, but quite a few Dutch people, German people, but a cool place. Then from Eibsee, we headed south towards Italy. So we were staying in northern Italy in a place called Murano near Bolzano, which is very, very, very north Italy. So just sort of dipped in. Basically, we wanted to do Stelvio Pass. So we thought, where can we stay sort of near the bottom of Stelvio so we can go there the next day and also tick off another country essentially. So we can say, you know, might as well go through Italy while we're there. On the way from Eibsee to Murano, or however we pronounce it, we stopped in Innsbruck in Austria. Big city. I don't know how I felt about Innsbruck. We just stopped in for lunch. It wasn't a whole lot. Didn't really get to absorb too much of the culture or the vibes, but generally in the Alps, a lot of the cultures are quite similar. So the German culture, the French culture, the Italian culture, the Swiss culture, in that sort of Alp region, sort of, it's a bit of a melting pot really. So it's quite similar generally. But it's still cool to see, and had a schnitzel, as you do. Well, I had a sausage, but people had schnitzels, and it was cool to do. In Italy, stayed in this nice little vineyardy place. I don't know if it was a vineyard. Oh, actually, that reminds me, I didn't even speak about this. In Baden-Baden, we stayed in this hotel on a vineyard. Lovely place. I'll put in some clips, but lovely, lovely place. Anyway, once we left Italy, we went to Stelvio Pass. I'm going to do a separate video talking about it in more detail, Stelvio Pass, because overrated. That's all I say for now. Overrated. Did not enjoy it that much. Cool views, but I wouldn't go out your way to do it generally. Not worth it. Just my 2 pence. Some of the best driving we did on the whole trip was between Zurich and Eibsee. So through Austria, there was some insane roads. I'll put some clips up. Great roads, empty, just sweeping, nice surface, just unbelievable. Great views. Everywhere you went in Austria was really nice, really quiet. Just, yeah, a lot better than some of these more hyped places. Don't believe the hype. Go to Austria, check out those roads in the sort of west side of Austria between Germany and Switzerland and Italy down there. So in that area, check that out. Anyway, after Stelvio Pass, we went to Lucerne. So it was quite a long trip from northern Italy up to Lucerne. One of the longer drives we did. A lot of mountain passes, and I'll tell you, in hindsight, maybe I didn't enjoy them enough because they are cool, but once you do keep doing, you know, hairpin, you're like, oh bloody hell, let me just get a motorway to make some progress, especially when you know you've got a 6-hour drive in front of you. I don't know, I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but after like 4 hours of it, you're just like, oh fucking hell, can I just make some progress? Can I just go 70 miles an hour, please? But yeah, it was cool views, cool place. I did get some drone shots, which I'll show now because they were cool. Yeah, nice place. Then to Lucerne, which is in Switzerland as well, just sort of to the west of Zurich. I would recommend it over Zurich. Smaller place, nicer place. Nice sort of intimate feeling. I don't know, Zurich, some of it's, maybe I went to the wrong areas, but some of it felt a bit rough. I know Zurich's not meant to be. Did sort of go to the west side of the city on a night out, which was carnage. Just won't talk about that, just don't do that. But yeah, the Lucerne was nice, small but nice. Nice bridges, nice city, nice lake, nice views. Saw 2 SLSs, not SLRs, I would have freaked out more. SLSs, nice cars. Anyway, yes, then from Lucerne we had a long sort of 5-6 hour drive up to Luxembourg. We were trying to make progress backwards. We knew we'd sort of go down in small stops and then go back in longer stops just to make good progress up. So this is where we drove through France. Unfortunately, it's just something you've got to do. You don't have to drive through France, you could have gone back through the Black Forest, but we just wanted to hop on the road, make some progress. We just hit Luxembourg and we're about 6 miles away from where we're staying. And this is the worst weather I've ever driven in. We just hit some massive storm. I'm going about 40 right now on the motorway. It is absolute carnage. And some cars are sailing past and then they aquaplane and then they slow down. So yeah, this is absolute carnage. So yeah, nearly at Luxembourg, nearly at the hotel, but this is some of the worst weather I've ever seen. So we got to Luxembourg, stayed in Luxembourg. Again, decent place, not sure I'd highly recommend going there. But cool to visit, cool to tick off. When else are you going to go to Luxembourg other than driving through it? So we did that. Yeah, and then after Luxembourg, we were sort of, well, Luxembourg's quite close really, so we had about a 3-hour drive to Ghent, I think, 3.5 hours, which is where we stayed our final night in Ghent. Cool place, it was actually like this festival was on in Ghent when we were there, so that was very cool. So we checked that out, stayed there, and then we were only an hour and a half, 2 hours from the ferry terminal for the return leg, so all worked out quite well. I'd recommend Ghent and Bruges over Brussels. We did another boat tour in Ghent. Again, cool place, cool way to see the city. I'd recommend it if you're there. I don't think the locals like it because it's a bit touristy, but I think it's cool. So we did that and it was a cool place. Fuel-wise, ended up spending about £650 on fuel in total, so not too bad. Included the Nurburgring and Stelvio Pass and all those mountain passes, so generally good. Toll-wise, we spent, well, toll and what are the other ones, the vignettes, we spent about £112 on, so you need a Swiss vignette and Austrian vignette, which is just so you can go on the motorway. We have this green TÜV sticker, which is basically the ULEZ for Germany. You needed one of them, that was about €15. So all included was about £112. On parking, so parking at the hotels in the city, spent about £156. Quite a lot when you think about it. Hotels per person, right, so there was 4 of us, we split the costs, every single one 4 ways, but per person was just over £1,000. So we spent £1,000 on hotels, £650 or so on fuel. So altogether for everything, including parking, everything like that, tolls, was about £2,000. It's like 1,970 or something like that, not including food. So that can obviously vary, depends how much you want to spend on food, where you want to go, if you want to eat out, if you want to make it at the hotel or the Airbnb, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of variables, but generally £2,000 minimum for 13 days. So bear that in mind. Now, speeding cameras, we did get zapped by a speeding camera in Freiburg in the Black Forest. It was a 30-kilometre zone, which is 19 miles an hour, which is crazy slow. In the middle of the city, we were going about, I'd say, 22 miles an hour, so not fast by any stretch. Wasn't aware of the speed limit because for the one time I didn't put Waze on, we got done by a speed camera. So we were moving from one car park to another that was closer to the hotel. It was probably a kilometre drive, and I got zapped because I didn't put Waze on. I just sort of went, oh, the hotel's there, let's go there. Serves me right. Always use Waze or something similar so you can look out for speed cameras, but generally be sensible, obviously, especially driving in foreign countries. You don't know the laws, the nuances of like how fast you can go through speed cameras, average speed checks, all things like that. But yeah, we got zapped, so I don't know how much we're going to get fined for that. They only do fines, they don't do points in Europe, so we'll find out, I guess. I'd assume 60, 70 euros, something like that, so no big deal, but annoying regardless. Another thing I'll mention is the borders. When you go through the borders, nothing really happens. You sort of just go through the border. You can just drive through the border. It's not like the USA, Mexico, where if you go through the border, you'll get shot. You can just go through the border. You just drive through them and it goes, you are now in France, or you are now in Germany, and that's it. We went to Switzerland, got done by the border control where they checked our passports and stuff, made sure it was all okay, which it was, and we were fine. So just on the way back to Calais now, we're about 24 miles away. Yeah, this is the end, I think, unless anything disastrous happens, touch wood, between now and home. But we're nearly back into the UK. Car's been great, trip's been great. And if you're thinking about doing a European road trip, hope any of these things I've said in this video is helpful. If not, apologies, but you should definitely do it, and you should definitely go to the Nurburgring if you're into cars. I can't recommend it enough. I wish I did it sooner, I guess. Absolutely loved it. We'll be going back. And yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe, all those things. Cheers. I'm sure I've missed some information out, but if you have any questions, drop in the comments. I'll try to reply, well, I will reply to everyone, answer any questions you have about the trip. I think I included as much as possible, but I'm sure I've left some things out because it's a lot to process. There's a lot to go through. I did make notes and do spreadsheets and things, but I'm sure I've missed something. But yeah, be sure to subscribe, like, I appreciate it. And yeah, this car is one of the best cars ever made, and all done on that hill.